Hawaii, an island alive with rich culture and stunning landscapes. But this isn't just another tropical paradise. It's a home, deeply rooted in traditions, resilience, and respect for the land and its people. On this journey, we'll dive deeper, exploring responsibly, embracing authentic experiences, and listening to the voices of those who know this island best, the locals. Join us as we connect with those who call this place home, not just as travelers, but as guests invited into a community rich with history, pride, and aloha spirit. Welcome to the island of Oahu. We arrived at Pier 38 just before dawn to meet up with our guide, Caleb, for an early morning glimpse inside the Hawaii Fish Auction. Caleb would walk us through the fascinating process of grading, pricing, and selling Hawaii's freshest seafood.
So Eric, welcome to Pier 38. This is the epicenter of Hawaii longline fishery and Hawaii's largest food producing system. Everything you see here on this dock, this is a modern facility. You don't see any seagulls out in Hawaii, interestingly, unlike California.
I noticed that,
And everything you see here, the boats, the trucks, the facilities, everything is geared around landing the fish that this fleet catches and bringing it to market, and then getting these boats back out fishing.
Okay.
This is all kind of based around the United Fishing Agency Fish Auction, which is the only fresh tuna auction in the United States and the last remaining one in Hawaii. The auction has existed in some form for over 100 years. This is a very old system that we have here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And today, it's run by the United Fishing Agency. And we're gonna get in and see everything that happens.
That's amazing, I'm excited for that.
But first, I want you to get a little feel for all the work that's been put into bring this fish to market. And so I want to tell you a little bit about these boats, how they work, and about these fishing trips.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And so I have the privilege to work in this fishery and have had a lot of different jobs in it. And so I've spent time on these boats, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
There's nothing else like it. Catching the big eye tuna for the sashimi market. This is not fast and furious cannery fishing where we scoop up big schools of fish and bring it to a cannery. This is all about quality and bringing fresh fish chilled on ice to market.
And it's good, I guess, with that, with you being so integrated and having so many roles and that, like you're such a big part of the community. Especially with this being such an integral part of Hawaii, like, and all over the country, really. Do you feel like you're part of this community? And like now you've been here 15 years, and
absolutely, I love being a part of this fishery. And it's not about me. This is just being a part of something that's really important, and getting to share that with you guys is really awesome. These are all longline fishing boats. They're called longline fishing boats because it's basically a really long fishing line, stretches out over about 40 miles, and then on it are hooks. About a couple thousand hooks, each one with a baited hook at the end. A typical day, longline fishing, starts around sunrise. The captain wakes up the crew, they come out on deck, and they'll throw a radio buoy overboard. And that radio buoy is attached to a spool of mainline. It's a 1,000-pound test monofilament mainline. And as it is pulled off the spool and dragged out, the crew attach smaller branch lines to it. So one crew member puts a little snap on the other end. Crew member baits the hook with a little mackerel fish, throws it overboard. Periodically, a floater buoy will go out. And so it's these curtains. And the big eye tuna that the boat's targeting, they're actually 1,000 feet deep. And so a line shooter is used to put out line faster than the boat's traveling. So it takes about 5 hours to put all that gear out.
Oh, 5 hours to put the 40 miles? Oh my God, okay.
Yeah, it's really quite nice. Sun's rising, and then they end around noon, midday. and then they throw another trackable radio buoy out, and then the gear just sits there, kind of drifting with the currents.
Yeah.
And the captain, it's not rocket science, but it is a science to it.
Yeah.
The captain has chosen this spot using his personal experience, his intuition.
Yeah.
Maybe he's looking for signs like birds flying around.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe he's got some information from a fellow captain.
Yeah.
And he's also got some technology to use. Big eye tuna is the target species, but yellowfin tuna and these associated pelagic species are fair game too. Mahi-mahi, ono, opa, manchong. All of these have value that we're going to talk about inside. After the set, the crew get to rest a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the only rest they get, basically, during a fishing cycle. The sun's starting to set at this point.
Okay.
And it's basically the reverse process of setting. So they collect the radio buoy, attach it back to the main line, and start bringing it in. Only 1% of these hooks will catch a fish. And then when they do catch a fish, the guy driving the boat, he can feel that there's something on. Everyone springs into action. And this is all about preserving quality. So the crew and the captain, they handle these fish extremely carefully. They'll all work together to bring it in. A couple guys for a big fish. They place gaffs in, they lift it up on the boat. Within just a couple of minutes, that fish is dispatched with an ikajimi spike to kill it. It's gilled and gutted, washed thoroughly with seawater, and then put down into an ice hole. It's all about quality in this game.
Wow.
That operation to haul back the gear, it's gonna last anywhere from 10 to 14 hours. So when they finish, the sun's coming up again, and it's time to start all over again. And that's a typical day on a longline fishing boat.
That's amazing.
Here in Hawaii, we have our longline fishery, we kind of have two subsets. We have the boats that target big eye tuna, and then the second subset is the swordfish fishery. So check this out.
Oh man.
So this morning, 4 boats came in. They started at about midnight. They show up, they get the carts ready, and then they start melting ice. There's like 40,000 pounds of ice on a typical longline boat.
Oh wow.
You want like twice as much ice as you have fish. And so the guys, they start melting the ice, and then as the fish, as you can pull them out, they're doing what you see them doing right now. There's a lot of noise in the seafood business. On menus or in advertisements, it's like fresh, not frozen, farmed, not wild farmed. There's all this sustainable, yellow, red, green, red rated, avoid, choose this. But for us, it's kind of simple. When you buy Hawaii seafood, when you buy American seafood in general, because of that regulatory framework that I'm telling you about, you can be confident that you're eating a sustainably caught and good product.
Oh, good.
The fleets, all of these boats that we're talking about, we're part of, one of the most highly monitored and comprehensively managed fisheries in the world. To be sustainable, we gotta know how many boats there are, what they're catching, what they're discarding, where they're fishing, how much. We have to know everything. And so having observers on these vessels, following strict regulatory and enforced measures, having the Coast Guard, satellite tracking 24 hours a day, all of this stuff, it allows us to be confident saying, we know what we're doing out here. We know everything about it, and you don't have to take our word for it. You don't have to trust that the captain's telling the truth, because third-party federal observers are on the vessels. Electronic monitoring on vessels that don't have those. So we have a really good idea of what's going on, and then we're managed by the United States federal government through NOAA, National Marine Fisheries Service, but also we fish under strict quota management systems that are structured internationally. So big eye tuna, yellowfin, not overfished, not overfishing in our fleet. The other thing is that we, yes, we're Hawaii's largest food producing system. Yes, the majority of U.S. landed big eye tuna comes from these boats, but really we represent like 2% of the fishing effort in the Pacific. So we're the little guys. We're kind of the underdogs in that sense.
Yeah.
And so we're really proud of what we do, how we operate, and the reason for that is because we have a really good idea of what's going on out at sea.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric, so when we walk in, I want you to stay really close to me.
Okay.
There's gonna be a lot of fish moving around on carts.
Okay.
We'll put we'll mask up because it's a food production facility, and stay close to me, and I can't wait for you to see this.
We got it, let's go.
Let's go.
Morning.
So Eric, welcome inside.
This is crazy, yeah.
So the fish arrives at the auction early before the buyers even show up, and then the United Fishing Agency guys lay out. So there's 4 boats. They lay out every fish one by one on these pallets, and every boat is arranged. So it starts with the big eye tuna, and it's arranged by size. So the big ones first, big, and then as it gets down to the small big eye tuna, then it goes to the yellowfin, and then after the yellowfin, you have the associated pelagic species. Remember those other fish that are being caught? And so each fish is weighed and a barcode tag is applied. So this is really cool, and it goes back to that traceability and tracking system. So on here you see the vessel name, Lady Karen, and that's the boat we were talking in front of. And so this is the weight, this is a 58 pound, this is the species, this is a yellowfin ahi, and then the barcode and tracking number, it allows us to put it back to the vessel, and then remember that data that we have from the monitoring tells us where the vessel is fishing. So every one of these fish, and then the people that end up taking this fish away likewise have their tracking system that tracks that fish back to the barcode.
I was not aware of all of the tracking that goes along with this too.
So check it out. You see the auction huddle, right?
Yeah.
So those are the fish buyers. So these guys, that group of gentlemen, they're all competing in an auction system to buy this fish, and they're representing restaurants. So that fish that you were eating, that Chef Rob's preparing, Barron's, buying the fish from this line. Dean right there is a legendary fish buyer. He's likewise representing a fish wholesaler. You also have some fish market owners. So some guys down here. So everyone's and you see guys on their cell phone. They're talking to buyers. This is unlike the slow night of longline fishing, this is where it really crescendos.
Yeah.
So what are these guys looking for in terms of fish?
Yeah.
Let's walk down there and I'll show you a little bit about grading quality.
Yeah, we love that.
So that auctioneer is going one by one and he's selling the fish and everyone's competing on it. So the auctioneer has to quickly assess the value of the fish and he starts high. He chooses an amount that's a little bit higher and then he's going down and he says that number. Let's say it's $10. Then he's going down by 10-cent increments and the buyers have to quickly ascertain the quality, the value of it, and how much they're willing to pay. And they're all competing with one another. So how do you assess the quality in a snap like that? So the first thing you're looking at is the size of the fish. Different sizes have different values for different applications. A tiny little fish isn't going to be that good big slab for sashimi. So a large fish, they tend to fetch a higher value. The next thing they're looking at is the freshness. So first thing you're looking at is the eye of the fish, the scales. Buyers are looking for that blue ring around the eye. That's a good sign. It means the fish is fresh. Same with this metallic kind of shiny black scales.
Yeah.
And then we got these core samples. So this is actually a core sample that's taken about right there, and it's laid out, and it gives you kind of a sneak peek of what's inside this fish. And then these tail cuts are critical. So what do you know what makes the fish red?
No, I mean, I would imagine what, stress, blood, or
it's blood. It's the iron, the hemoglobin in the blood. And so we're also looking for firmness. How firm is the fish? If it's real soft, it's kind of an indication of degradation. You know, maybe it's a little older or not as good. And then it's all about color. This red color. And you know, maybe it looks all red, but every fish is different. There's no fish that's the same. And so buyers are looking for a translucent, red, evenly distributed. This one actually would be kind of what you'd call a two-toner. So this is a good fish. It's strong, firm to the touch, nice and red. But do you see that kind of the tone distribution?
Yeah.
It's like dark in the middle.
Yep.
That's going to bring the value down just a little bit. But this is all about connecting the right fish for the right person. So for the right application, this is the perfect fish.
Yeah.
So this is a sashimi quality. You know, you eat this raw. You know, maybe it makes the perfect seared catch of the day, nice and red inside, cooked on the outside. This could be a great poke fish.
Yeah.
But for that fish buyer that only wants the creme de la creme, this one's not going to cut it. So what do you think of that one? Remember, we start by assessing the general freshness of the fish. So do you see, what does the eye tell you?
I mean, it does have that blue ring. Is that the blue ring that we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's blue ring. It looks fresh.
Scale, or the
shiny black scales.
Shiny,
yep. And so what about
this is not as red, but it looks fatty.
It's not as red. You're right. And so this one might not cut it for a sashimi grade. Chef Rob might not want to be using this for the New Year's sashimi special.
Yeah.
But something tells me that this would cut it for like his spicy poke.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because once you put a lot of ingredients on this, it's gonna cover up that red color anyway.
Yeah.
But this is a fresh fish, and so we want to eat this raw. It's fairly firm, a little bit soft in the tail, but that I don't think that's from degradation, just because I'm checking that against the general freshness of the fish.
Yeah. So now when buyers come to bid on one, and when they purchase one, they bid on the entire fish, not just a portion of it.
That's right.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. So all of these fish are, remember, gilled and gutted and served whole. So you're buying a 61-pound big eye tuna here, but when you process it and turn this fish into 4 loins and a belly chunk, you're generally going to get about 60% of that weight.
Oh,
that's called the yield.
yeah.
And so, again, you have to factor that in.
At the end of the auction, are all of these fish sold, or if not, then what happens to the ones that aren't sold?
Generally, every fish is sold.
Wow.
Yeah. There's not a lot of rejects. Sometimes the market will reject a fish.
Oh, okay.
But remember, the bidding starts high and it goes down. And so that's all designed to establish a real market price. It's like a master class in supply and demand economics.
Yeah.
You have all these buyers, the price comes down, and then that buyer decides that's the price I'm willing to pay. And then another buyer can actually say, you know what? On second thought, I'm willing to pay 10 cents higher. And then it can go back to back.
And that sets the rate.
And that sets
wow.
the rate. So it's pretty rare to get down to 10 cents a pound, to that bottom, that unit increment.
Yeah.
And nobody wants it. Because generally, there is someone. Because remember, it's all about the right fish for the right person. And even for a low quality fish, there are applications for that. Whether it's smoking and dried product, or grinding it up and making an ahi hamburger patty.
Yeah, which we had yesterday with Chef Robin.
Yeah.
So that was
so yeah, Chef Rob isn't using his fatty big eye tuna, his prized cut for that piece. But I bet it was still really good.
Delicious. We enjoyed that so much.
And then it's those other associated pelagic species. So this is the last of the smallest yellowfin on the boat. And now we go into these other species. And these are the marlin.
Marlin.
When you're in Hawaii, you should eat marlin because it's the only place in the United States where you're allowed to retain and market marlin. And it's a wonderful fish. And it's great that we don't have to waste them. So I think when you were at with Chef Rob, he's serving some killer marlin poke. The Hawaiian word for marlin is au. A okina u. And there's two species that we commonly see. This is the striped marlin, or the nairagi, and then that's a blue marlin, or the kajiki. Check out the mahi mahi.
Oh yeah.
These are some big. So can you tell which one's a female and which one's a male?
I'm assuming the larger one are female, or no?
Really good guess.
No?
And it's actually not the case with the mahis.
Really?
And it's really interesting that you bring it up because in general, larger fish are females, which is what you're saying. But in the case of mahi, the bull mahi are the ones with the big head, and the females are the ones with the more narrow head. Look at this beauty. That big head. These things are just insane
looking like dinosaurs,
So let's come around and check out the swordfish we were seeing off Katie Mary. Very firm, translucent.
And these are in season right now.
And these are in season right now. It is swordfish season. The biggest market for swordfish is the U.S. East Coast.
East Coast, right?
And so actually we're working to try and get more people, kind of like the manchong. Remember I said, not a lot of people understood it. Same thing with swordfish here. It's already a premium fish other parts of the world. The Mediterranean, Japan, the East Coast. But here in Hawaii, we don't really mess with it, but we should.
Yeah, beautiful fish. Now with all these buyers, I feel like you need a strategy coming in here for purchasing, especially over the years, I imagine you build a strategy.
It's a total poker game in that huddle. Everyone's got their mission, they've got their objective, and that doesn't necessarily align with how they're presenting themselves. They might be trying to throw another buyer off. Some buyers might not even need a lot of fish, but they're going to stay in that line and check every fish, maybe in an attempt to hold the market value up to where it was yesterday when they bought in real heavy.
Oh, wow.
It's a total poker game in there.
That's interesting.
So what'd you think in there?
This was an amazing, it gives me so much insight, I think, to, again, like I mentioned earlier, like how everything is, the food at your plate, you don't really understand or think about the process of everything that goes in from the buying process to get to the stores and the restaurant. It's very intricate, it's very competitive, and it's such a detail. You have to have years of experience, but Caleb, I appreciate the time and the knowledge and everything for taking us and for that tour. Everything was amazing. So we'll be in touch when we're back out here in Hawaii. We'd love to meet up with you and talk story.
My pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks for coming down, guys.
Sounds good. Thank you.
And with that, our journey through the Honolulu Fish Auction came to a close. Guided by Caleb, we delved into the heart of Hawaii's seafood industry, witnessing firsthand the meticulous process that brings the ocean's bounty from boat to table. From the early morning offloading of catches to the precise grading and spirited bidding, every step underscored a commitment to quality, sustainability, and tradition. Caleb's insights illuminated the intricate balance between preserving marine ecosystems and supporting local livelihoods. This experience not only deepened our appreciation for Hawaii's rich fishing heritage, but also highlighted the dedication behind every fresh catch. It was just after 9:30 a.m. when we wrapped up our tour with Caleb. We grabbed a little bit of breakfast with him and his mentor at Nico's, fitting since it's right next door and a favorite among local fishermen. Then, in true traveling required fashion, we headed to a bar. Yes, a bar at 10 a.m. But we weren't there for drinks. We came to meet someone worth waking up early for. Dave Newman is the founder and owner of Pint Jigger, a name that's become legendary in Honolulu's cocktail scene. Known for his inventive, technique-driven drinks for shaping Hawaii's modern bar culture, Dave has earned national recognition while staying true to local roots. In 2025, he was named a finalist for the James Beard Foundation's new National Award for Outstanding Professional in Cocktail Service, making him the only finalist from Hawaii that year. And if you're into whiskey, you'll feel right at home. Pint Jigger boasts the largest whiskey collection in the state, with over 950 bottles from around the world. Each bottle on the shelf tells a story, just like the man behind the bar. While it might have been early for a bar visit, meeting Dave and experiencing his passion firsthand made it the perfect next stop on our Hawaii adventure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for this.
Ah.
So this is such an amazing bar. You have such an amazing collection of spirits here, right? So I'd like to know more about you and kind of how you got to where you are now. And were you born in Oahu or?
No, I was actually born in LA. Started bartending when I was going to college in Santa Barbara, UC Santa Barbara, and just never escaped.
Yeah?
So I was last working for Nobu in Malibu.
Nice.
And they said they were going to open a new location, both in San Diego and Hawaii. And I told them, hey, like whichever one opens first, I want to transfer.
Yeah.
So Hawaii opened 6 weeks before San Diego, so I transferred out here in 2007.
Nice. So you were working in Nobu as a bar manager? Or?
Yeah, I ran their bar over there for 5 years, and then we opened Pint Jigger originally in 2012.
Oh wow, so 2012, so you had this for 13 years now?
Yeah,
amazing.
So we took a little break during COVID.
Amazing, yeah.
Busted off the wounds.
Definitely.
But yeah, we're back in the Alamona Hotel, and the new location's amazing.
Yeah.
A little bit higher ceiling, so we end up with the obnoxious whiskey wall.
Come on, anyone that walks in here is just amazed by this. I think any bar that has this kind of collection, you know you're coming into a good bar, right?
Oh, thank you. We have right now over 950 different whiskeys, largest whiskey collection in Hawaii, and you know it's kind of a fun place because you can like one-stop shopping. You can try a bunch of stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Maybe some old favorites. And,
Definitely.
And the staff's really into it, so they can guide you through if you're just dipping your toe in the shallow end, or if you know your stuff. Like we can definitely show you some things that are hard to find.
So you being bar manager at Nobu, like what got you into getting into being a bar manager at all?
Again, it just goes poor life decisions. I was really fortunate to be working at Nobu. It was really profitable. They were willing to spend whatever it took to make things the way that they wanted to. So I created a cocktail with them called, had blood orange in it. It was called a White Cocoa. And when blood orange season ended, they were just like, nah, instead of taking it off the menu, our guests like it, we're just gonna start importing from Chile. The cost goes way up, but they weren't really concerned with that. So I was super fortunate to be there. You know, we were using fresh juices before that had really caught on. So I kind of got a head start on the craft cocktail movement. And the craft cocktail movement followed on the footsteps of farm to table. A lot of people don't realize that though, because everybody was concerned with the provenance of their food. Did it have, was it non-GMO? Did it have pesticides? Was it organic? But then you were drinking a cocktail made with a bottled sour mix, which had like high fructose corn syrup and red number 3 and yellow number 5.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. So it took a little bit of time, but then we started switching over from all those bottled sour mixes and to better, fresher, more organic products.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be in the right place, working at the right bar, that we really got a head start.
That's amazing.
So we came to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I had been managing bars, clubs in LA and different spots. So it was just a matter of time before I was like, I need to do my own space. So we ran a second bar in our old location. It was a little bit hidden, a speakeasy. It was the first speakeasy in Hawaii. It was called Harry's Hardware Emporium. And we have rebuilt it, and we're just waiting on staffing. So hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to share that with our guests. you'd been in the old one, we saved everything, put it in storage, and reused it to rebuild the space. So if you'd been in the old one, you'd feel really connected to there. And one of the things that my original bar mentor taught me was, he's like, if you can focus on one guest that comes in, like if it's a couple, if it's 3 people, it's 1 person, and try to have them leave the bar saying that was the best bar restaurant experience I've ever had in my life. You can't help but spill that over to the guest next to them and be doing it throughout the course of the evening. Pint's really, really busy. Like, so I don't get as much face time with most of the guests, so it's a little bit more difficult here. In Harry's, the way it's built, the seating spaced out, there's not as many guests. I get the opportunity to do that to almost everybody that goes in there. So people leave there just blown away. Welcome to Harry's Hardware Emporium. So this is our new iteration of my baby Harry's Hardware Emporium.
This is amazing. This is a whole bar over here as well too.
Yeah, so everything we do up here is elevated from downstairs. You know, if we're using bullet bourbon to make an old fashioned, we're using Eagle Rare up here. Food menu is elevated. We're doing oysters and caviar and charcuterie and cheese boards. Yeah, and then if you had been in the old Harry's, you'll recognize almost everything from this bar. We saved the bar top, the bar stools, lighting fixtures, ceiling tiles. We do barrel-aged cocktails. That's from the old space. But all the mirrors and fixtures and everything is all from the old place as well. And then my business partner found the exact same wallpaper we used to have.
No kidding.
So if you've been in the old Harry's, you'll feel connected to this one.
Yeah.
It's a little bit smaller. Just the space is.
No, this is good seating.
So nobody believes this, but my favorite thing to drink, if I only had one thing to drink for the rest of my life, it'd be champagne.
Champagne?
Every time you open a bottle, it's a celebration.
Interesting, yeah.
It pairs with every single food. Like, if you're ever in doubt of what to bring to a party or what to pair, you bring champagne. It works with everything. There's the communal thing. I think a lot of people forget that. Like, if we all go out for cocktails, you might have a smoked Manhattan, I might drink a Cosmopolitan, our friend might have an espresso martini. But if we open a bottle of champagne or wine, you have this shared experience because everybody's participating in the same thing.
Yeah.
I adore cocktails, I love making them, but I also can't wake up at 7 in the morning and drink a peated scotch. But I can wake up in the morning and have some champagne. I obviously adore whiskey. I love my agave products, but my true love is really whiskey as far as spirits goes.
And for the whiskey, what is your most treasured bottle that you love up there?
Oh, that's tough. We've been gifted some amazing things, and there's something about that means more. But I'll share a personal story. So my dad was not a drinker. He never drank at all. I don't think I ever saw him drink a drink before this moment. And he had cancer, went into remission, and I was like, Dad, you don't get to leave this world without us sharing a glass of whiskey.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's like, I don't drink. Like, he's like, and so we argued a little bit, and eventually he was like, okay, but at least get me something good.
Yeah.
And I had some bottles at his house. I just picked the best one, which was a Glenmorangie 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And I poured it for him, and we shared that. So he ended up passing on Christmas Eve, like a long time ago, like 15 years ago. So every year since then on Christmas Eve, I open a bottle of that and share it with the staff or whoever's around.
Oh,
so
man.
That, by far, is the most special bottle on that shelf for me.
I appreciate you sharing that. I'm getting chicken skin just hearing that from you. And is that what you poured for yourself right now? Or?
I did not. I poured a peated whiskey called McLean's Nose, probably one of the best value whiskeys that we have. And that's something I really look for. Like, when we find things that I think are undervalued, then I get to share that with our guests. And maybe it's not the best business model because they're lower priced and the margins aren't as high, but I have such a love for the category and what we do that I just find things that I think are really amazing, and they don't have to cost a ton to be great.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I guess out of your collection up here, what is your favorite?
I mean, the newest bottle just reminds me of Iron Man. I've never seen a whiskey company put out a bottle that was
I was just going to say, is that the one you're talking about?
So this is Macallan 200 anniversary bottle.
Whoa.
They made, I believe, like 1,700 for the whole world. We were lucky enough to get one.
Okay.
I mean, it's just such a fun bottle. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, I'm scared to open that bottle.
A little expensive, but
let me know when you do. I'd love to join you.
But out of what I've actually gotten to try up here, every year Parker's Heritage comes out with one bottle, and one that came out a handful of years ago now is called Promise of Hope.
Wow.
But all of those are a portion are donated to ALS because one of the Parker beans had ALS.
Got it.
So pretty cool bottles. And so that's what we do with our staff here. On Tuesdays, we get together as a group and we run through every iteration of a cocktail.
Wow.
So we'll take a drink like the Negroni.
Yeah.
Typically equal parts gin, Campari, sweet vermouth. We throw that out the window, that idea that it needs to be equal parts. We'll grab 6 different sweet vermouths, 8 different gins, and we'll make that drink with those. Maybe in equal parts we start, and then once we find the gin we like with the sweet vermouth we like, then we start altering the proportions.
Yeah.
Until we land, and as a group we decide that's the best version of that drink, and then that's what becomes our house recipe.
Interesting.
My partners hate me because we're making 35 Negronis on a Tuesday and dumping them down the sink. Well, some of them get dumped down the sink.
Yeah.
We definitely consume a few. The bar name is fun for me. Harry's Hardware Emporium.
Yeah.
My great-grandpa had a liquor store in Erie, Pennsylvania, pre-Prohibition. So 1919, he had to close his bar and find something else to do. He was best friends with his neighbor who owned a hardware store. He worked in that hardware store all through Prohibition. And then after he reopened his bar, it wasn't his liquor store. It wasn't in the same location, but it was in another part of Erie. His name was Harry Newman. I'm Dave Newman. So Harry's Hardware Emporium is a tribute to my great-great-grandpa.
Wow, that's a great story. I'm glad you explained that as well too, because I mean, I was curious on where that Harry's Hardware Emporium. That's such a unique name.
So at our previous location, the outside was the facade of a closed old hardware store.
Wow.
As a tribute. So.
Wow.
We wanted to keep the name because so many people had gotten to visit. And now they're clamoring for us to reopen, so
yeah,
we'll get there soon.
And like going into that, like I'd love to hear. I mean, if you have a story of a customer experience or a staff experience that you can share that you wouldn't mind, I would love to hear that because myself, I have personal experience with like just having an amazing drink and that like resonates and that sticks with me. And I mean, I would love to hear something that you have.
Yeah, this is good and bad. So you may have heard of these two gentlemen, The Rock.
Maybe.
Yeah. And his little sidekick.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
So Kevin Hart and The Rock come into our old location at Pint. They have the most amazing time. They're the sweetest humans. They're like willing to take all the pictures, hang out with the staff.
Yes, I've heard.
Have the greatest time. And then the next day, they go onto the news, like they were on local news because they were filming here. And like, we went to the most amazing bar. We had the best time. Staff was amazing. One of the best burgers we've ever had. We don't remember the name of the spot we were at.
No way, no way. And you're just watching like, oh,
thanks, Kevin.
Yeah. Oh my God. But you know.
Yeah, we know.
And that's kind of treasured within yourself, I'm sure.
And Pint's always just been like this local spot. Our old location, we were running over 90% local, and in this location, even being in the hotel, we're still running over 80% local, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because we don't have to then deal with the fluctuations with hotel.
You're from LA. You came here and built this amazing business, amazing bar, and yet you're part of the community, and I love that you're part of the community. Like you said, 80% of the people here are local.
I couldn't be more blessed in my life, and I traveled all around the world. I've gotten to bartend in Spain, Honduras, Colorado, San Francisco, all these amazing places, and you learn a lot when you travel. And I think those experiences then coming to Hawaii of like showing up really humble, being really respectful of the culture and the community. If you do that here, you'll be embraced. Yeah. And it's really amazing.
Yeah.
The community here will take you in and take care of you.
Yeah.
I think I told you my dad had passed right before I'd come here. And there's an amazing chef out here. His name's Mark Noguchi. He's sort of a poster child for everything that's organic, sustainable here. He worked at this amazing restaurant called Tuna, which unfortunately isn't here anymore, but they were really known for that, serving local, organic, sustainable food. And Mark had heard, I had met him one time, and he had heard that my pops had passed and I was out here. I get a phone call, don't have his number stored in my phone. That's how much we didn't know each other. And he's like, hey, I heard that your pops had passed. You don't really have a place to go for Thanksgiving. You're coming to my house.
Wow.
I've been to Thanksgiving at his house every year since then, except for one during COVID.
Wow.
And that's, to me, speaks to what Hawaii is really about. Like, that's the aloha, that's the community spirit. And if you show up the right way, you get to be a part of that.
Agree. And I think that's what we've all felt during this trip, and which was amazing with everybody that we've met. Is like this morning we just met with Caleb from Hawaii Seafood, and same thing, like we were with him for 4 hours in the morning from like 5:30 till like 9:30, and when we left he's like, oh, I'm sad that you guys are leaving. I'm like, yeah, like we just met this morning, and you know that ohana spirit, and I feel like it's you won't understand it unless you're here and you meet somebody. I mean, to meet the local that kind of gives that to you, and I appreciate that, and I feel it with you as well too. So this is great.
It's so cool what you guys are doing, because I think a lot of people come to specifically Oahu, and they may never leave Waikiki.
Yeah.
And they may never get to experience that. And there's this really, you have to put a little bit of effort to really experience a place.
Yeah.
And for you guys to be going around and meeting, I mean, I've heard some of the people you've met, and I know most of them. And,
Yeah.
You hit some real amazing people. And,
Yeah.
Our community is full of that beautiful spirit, but you got to get outside of Waikiki.
Exactly.
You got to explore a little bit. So
Yeah.
I'm very blessed, and Pint's been around for a good amount of time now. A lot of places come and go, and we're still on the scene, and people are still, old regulars are still here, and one of my bartenders I hired before we opened Pint still works for me.
Yeah.
13 years later, it's pretty incredible. So
It's amazing. I mean,
super
that's a
blessed.
testament to how you run a space too, and how you run a business. So they want to be here.
Thank you.
So that's amazing. And this drink, by the way, the Mesquite Smoked Manhattan, this is delicious.
Thank
This is
you.
my kind of drink for sure.
Awesome.
So I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Wow.
Thank you so much, man.
Such
I
a pleasure
appreciate the
to
time.
meet you.
I'm sure your father will be very proud of your business and what you have done. So this is amazing. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for sharing your story. And I look forward to seeing you again next
Best
time.
of luck, and
Thank you
safe
so much.
travels.
Wow, we had such an amazing time out here in Oahu. I think one thing that really resonated with us was the aloha spirit. From everything that we did, from the outrigger activities to going to the fish auction house, to going behind the kitchen, and now going behind the bar with Dave over there at Pint Jigger. And please, explore more than just Waikiki, and be mindful, you're a guest in somebody's home. And remember, wherever adventure takes you, just know traveling is required.